Freedom Bench, 350 Legend Part 2. This could be a long one. We better head to the bench. Welcome back to the bench. So let's talk about what we're going to do on this reloading series of the 350 Legend. So I want to take a test load, which we'll go through tonight, and I want to make 6 rounds. One round will be a round to just make sure you don't blow your face off, and the remaining 5 rounds will be a good test batch to see how well our load's going to do. So we'll talk about over the course of tonight. And just like anything else, the first step after you have all of your brass cleaned out and tumbled and ready to go after the wash is resizing. So resizing tonight, we're going to reload our 6 pieces of brass, and just like any other reloading video, we have to make sure that we resize this down back to spec, down to specifications, to make sure it chambers in your rifle. The rifle we will be using for this test group will be a Savage chambered in 350 Legend. So let's take a look and see whether or not how bad or how much these will need to be resized. So we have our case length gauge out and an actual piece of factory ammo, and I just want to go through the process to show everyone what happens when you resize. So I guess let's start with the factory. The factory drops right in there, comes right out. The once fired brass doesn't go all the way down. So we'll lube those up, we'll run them through our resizing die, we'll let you know how it goes. The die set we'll be using tonight is the Lee Precision Pace Setter die set, along with the 350 Legend Collet style crimp die. Okay, since I haven't done this in a while, I figured I'd take this as an opportunity to show everyone how to get the resizing die set up. First thing you need to do is to raise the ram to the top of the stroke. Then from there you can proceed to turn your die in until it touches the shell holder, which you can see there, touches. Then from there you need to make an additional 1/3 to 1/4 turn. So we'll do a 1/4 turn. And this is all set up. We can tighten the lock ring down here, tighten that in, we'll be good to go. Let's see how these do. Take our lubed case, press it into the shell holder, raise it in there. Then we got to clean that lube off. And then let's check it here, see if it goes in. Already running into a problem. The die is not resizing so that it goes all the way in. Factory ammo goes all the way in. You can rub your finger across it. These should be able to go right in there without the bullet in them. You can see we've got a problem. So after a night to think about it, I've got a couple possible solutions to fix this problem. Number one, I went ahead, looked at the directions, and you're supposed to clean out the case length gauge before you use it. So I got some rubbing alcohol, and as you can see, there's a little bit dirty inside of the case length gauge. Don't really think that was the problem, but I think it was a good thing to do anyways. Number 2, according to the Lee instruction manual, you're supposed to lube the inside of these cases. So you're supposed to do the outside and the inside. And when I was doing it last night, I only was lubing the outside of the case. So if we're able to have this be the solution, it'll be a quick and easy solution. I'm going to use one of these, and I'm going to do that real quick to see if that works. If it does, great, then we'll keep moving. If not, we'll go to solution number 2. All right, let's see if that was the fix. Nope. So I could really tell resizing that one that it resized. Well, it had already been resized, but it went through the die a lot smoother. So going forward, I will be lubing the inside of the case mouth going forward for these. But back to my problem, I really don't know what the issue is, because I don't know where it's getting tripped up in this case gauge. If it's getting tripped up in the case mouth, or is it getting tripped up in the case head? You can see right there, you can see where you can see a little ring around, right around here at the top. The die, when it goes into the inside the die, that's where it's stopping. So just like you'll have 9mm cases where there'll be a bulge at the end, I was thinking, well, maybe that's the case here. And I'll put SAMI specifications for the 350 Legend up on the screen here. So I figured I better measure some of these to see if that's the problem. So let's do this side first. The case mouth is supposed, SAMI specs is 0.378. So got our calipers out, and that's measuring 0.369 or 0.370. So that's within spec. That's less than 0.378. So I can't imagine that being the issue. And this here, the case head is supposed to be 3.90. So if we were having an issue at this end, I would guess it'd be over 3.90. And we'll measure it. It's at 0.387. So that's not the issue. And one thing I did learn after researching last night, which was a very good find, some of you might laugh at this, but I did not know, which it makes total sense now, but after you resize one of these, you're supposed to trim the brass after you resize it, because obviously resizing the die is stretching and, you know, forming it back to specification. So, you know, measuring it before you resize it really doesn't do you any good. So maybe the reason why it's getting stuck is because it's too long. So let's measure the length again. It's supposed to be under 1.71. And it's 1.709. So it is right up on, it is basically 1.71. And I know before resizing this guy that it was shorter. Not by a lot, but it leads me to believe that these things might be too long now. And that's where I'm leaning. So we might have to get something in order to trim these guys down. So in order to trim the brass, I originally got this case gauge holder, which we'll demo here tonight. I tried it already, not too happy with it. So So I purchased that. That was only like $5. Then this lead lock cutter and stud came with the kit, which you have to use in tandem with the gauge holder. So let's take a look at this thing. So what you do with this, it's not all the way assembled yet. I got to put it together, but this is supposed to go all the way in there. It's supposed to go over that, because then if it gets all the way up to here, there's a cutter. This guy right here has a cutter at the end of it, and you're able to trim the brass. And this thing is machined so that it's perfect. It's a perfect trim every time is the idea. But it doesn't really do any good if you have to resize the case after, which somebody in the comments, please prove me wrong if I've got this all mixed up, that'd be great. But if you resize your case, it ain't gonna get over there. It's not gonna get over that. Because if we measure this thing, it's saying 0.351, okay? So 0.351, and inside of case mouth, it's 0.349. So this is too small. So we got to make this bigger in order for it to go on here, in order to trim it. So I guess the only thing I can think of is to put it into the expander die. So got the expander die set up. I think we should give it a couple tries here, and we'll give a couple measurements to see if we need to get to 0.355 as far as I'm concerned. So let's put it in there. Run it up there. And let's see what we measure. So we're at 0.340, is that right? 0.343. Let's put a little bit more flare on that. Twist the die a little bit. Pretty much sacrificing this piece of brass for the good of the game. I don't know what's going on. This is what you got to do when things go wrong. Test. Test. Still don't work. Test it again. Let's see what this is measuring now. 0.348. 0.350. We're getting close. Starting to go on there. Happy about that. Let's put this thing in another 1/8 of a turn. You're not supposed to go too far on this flare, just because it weakens your brass. See where we're at. So here's a projectile, and it fits in there pretty nicely actually. So I'm okay with that. Looks like the die is set up okay for that. Let's get our calipers. We're at 0. Looking for 0.355. I don't know what the deal is. 0.350. This bullet is 0.355. So I don't know what the deal is. Must not be measuring that right. See if it fits on this case cutter. I mean, we are dangerously close there. Which I don't know. Could be that this I mean, the width of this here from my fingertip to fingertip, I mean, I might not be able to flare that deep into the case. Let's give this one more flare. Let's do another turn. It's going to be a long video, guys. Alright, what do we got? Basically got a trumpet on there. Not super thrilled about that. Projectile. Fits in there. See about this. I mean, we are getting close. Let me try this a couple more times. The video's getting too long at this point. See if I can get it, just so we can trim it. So I was able to actually get some brass to turn off of there. Look at that trumpet. If this ends up working, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it. Let's measure this. So if you recall, earlier on we were at basically 1.71, which is max trim length. I was able to basically, I think we were at 1.709. So I got 6 thousandths to come off. So now I'm gonna lube this up again, throw it through the resizer, and then see if it drops in the case length gauge. See you in a second. Okay, been resized. Trumpet gone. See if it works. No, sir. So, next idea. I'm going to make a dummy round. When I read on some of the forums online, somebody had mentioned, and nobody responded to it, but this is a, see it, camera. This is a Lyman case length gauge, 350 Legend Lyman. Somebody mentioned that this thing only accepts completed round. So maybe it's the crimp. Maybe I'm going to throw a bullet on there. I'm going to crimp it. I'm not going to put any powder or primer in it. I'm going to drop it in there. Maybe the crimp die gets this case head down even further and then it drops in. So we're going to try next. Problem solving. Everyone should do it. So I skipped the installation of the bullet seating die, and let's just fast forward here to the, well, we'll see in a second. Factory ammo. Beautiful. Comes right out. Here is our dummy round. Completed through bullet seating. I have not crimped yet. This has a case overall length of 2.25. I wanted to get to 2.245, but after seating it several times, it's almost like a plastic on top of there, the tip of that bullet. Anyways, let's see if it goes in. Nope. Same issue. Let's crimp it and see what happens after that. If you've made it this far in the video, you're either rooting for me to succeed or you just can't wait to see me fail again. Let's check it out. Factory ammo. Unbelievable. Here we go. So this one is a dummy round, sorry. There's no primer, there's no powder. The crimp on there is excessive. It's too much crimp. but I wanted to see if it's going to work. Let's try it. Nope. It's not going in there. It's not falling out. The factory ammo goes straight in there. Falls right out. It's like Winchester knew what they were doing or something. I have exhausted all of my solutions. This is where we're going to end the video. Back to the drawing board. If any seasoned reloaders happen to see this video, help a youngster out, help a newbie out. I've got no idea what's going on. Thanks for watching.